What up, YouTube world? It's your boy CJ.
It's your boy.
It's your boy CJ. CJ, the creator, aka Fit with CJ. We're here to talk about short form content and why it sucks. Why is it why is it that right now there's a trend where everyone is moving away from it? Everyone's talking about YouTube, everyone's talking about getting into long form content. And there was something I posted recently that went semi-viral. And when I say semi-viral, I meant that it got a lot of engagement when I said on my Instagram page, I'm tired of short form content. I'm tired of it just being so minimizing to me as a creator. And let's talk about what that means for you coming up here. What is going on? Let's just get right into it. Let's get right into it because this is one of those things that's at the top of my mind. And I was like, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about the short form content. And I wrote down a few things that I want you guys to know about short form content first before I go into this whole diatribe about the breakdown of what's happening in the industry, right? And with the industry of content creation. So what is short form content? Short form content is what we're going to describe as anything that's anywhere between usually 10, 15 seconds. When you hear that, you're thinking of clips that are going to be like on TikTok that made TikTok super famous and it took over the world in 2020. We're talking about Instagram Reels. We're talking about YouTube Shorts. We're talking about Pinterest idea pins, right? We're talking about the content that's literally kind of shifted the way that we even post things on social media these days. It has everything to do with getting everything bite-sized information or value or laughter or entertainment into a small window because people's attention spans are so short. And it's one of those things where it was like, man, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and let's squeeze as much as we can. How can we squeeze as much as we can into a short amount of time? And so in 2020 is when it's really shifted. And by the way, let's talk about social media is not that old, you guys. It's not that old. So, when we talk about a lot of things, and this is just the evolution of stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more about how seasons change and why content changes, why media changes, and why the things that you see now is not necessarily what you're going to see 10 months from now, or let alone 10 years from now, right? But let's talk about TikTok in general and how that has literally shifted everything. So let's just go through short form content in itself, which is videos now, right? Where we're talking about, with Instagram and stuff like that, it started as a photo app and then the videos and it started to grow. And then if you look at just Instagram in 2017, 2018, we were posting longer videos. We were posting videos that were 3 minutes long, 2 minutes long. You would post a whole particular workout, or you would put, content out there without a limitation in your head of how long something is. And to me, that's where it was a little bit more freedom. It was a little bit more, the content was more organic and it was more free because as a creator, you didn't feel boxed in. You didn't feel like, man, I can't create. I gotta fit as much as I can into the short period because people's not going to pay attention. And the negative part about what the social media has done recently is squeezing everything you can into a short amount of time, and is really limiting us as creators. And so let's talk about, first of all, why content being so short is successful. And the reason why it's super successful is because it's the definition of short, right? People's attention spans right now are super small. And when we talk about being able to just swipe, get what you want, and then constantly get that dopamine hit, that constant dopamine hit over and over and over. And it's that adrenaline rush. I get a quick laugh. I get a quick piece of information. I get encouraged. I get, a little bit of excitement super, super fast. And then I keep swiping, boom and boom and boom. And why is that super important? Why is that that's just like that constant, it's almost like a sugar rush. It's almost like this high that you constantly get over and over and over. And that's why short form content is super successful. Let's because we're breaking it down. Let's talk about, it's really about how much you can get and consume consistently, and it never ends. Think about social media. It never ends. It never ends. The timelines never end. The algorithm is always going to push something else to you. And so with the short form content, it's doing two things. It's giving you that constant, oh, this is great. 10 seconds later, this is great. 15 seconds later, this is great. 7-second clip, this is great. And the algorithm and the social media platforms are loving it because one, you're seeing more content from more creators, and two, you're staying on the platforms longer and you get lost because you've just kind of like consumed all this stuff, and you just, next thing you know, you're swiping, you ever just swipe and swipe and swipe on social media, and you're thinking, hey, I'm just going to spend 10-15 minutes and catch up on some stuff with some people. Boom, 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 boom. And next thing you know, it's an hour and a half later and you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, damn, a whole hour and a half went away. It's because you got lost in the dopamine hits and all the excitement and all the adrenaline rush that you got there, right? So let's talk about why. So we talked about why social media is going to short form content, the successful part. We talked about what short form content is. Now let's talk about why this is bad for creators. Why is CJ? Why are you talking about this? What do you mean? So short form content sucks, right? Why does it sucks? It sucks because you have to fit as much as you can into a small window, hoping that people are going to be able to consume in the not message and the value that you want within 10 or 15 seconds. And honestly, it's very limiting. It's very limiting. And like, I'll use myself as an example. Like, I want to tell stories. I want people to, be able to have a story told. I'm a big fan of movies. I don't know if you are, but I'm a super big fan of movies, and I love a great story to be told. I love when I go to the movies and I see a 2.5 hour movie or a 3 hour movie runtime. I'm excited about that. I don't want to see an hour and 20-minute movie. To me, that's going to feel rushed. The story is developed, and I'm be like, man, am I really going to get my money's worth out of this? I don't want something short. I want something that's going to, like, granted, is it harder to be able to put a longer movie of 2.5 hours or 3 hours to keep my attention? Yes. But do I get more value and I get more out of it? Yes. Think about the movies that do the best when it comes to Oscars and awards and, all these different things that come out. They are the ones that are super long and they tell the most story. Why? Because they have depth. They have, they gave you to feel something. They develop the characters. There's only so many characters that can be developed in a 10-second window, right? A 15-second window on Reels. You can't develop a character. So if I want to tell a story, for example, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that sometimes I'll have stories that sometimes even intertwine and have different series where the story might not even be told in that one piece of content, because I want you to come back. I want you to watch more. I want you to pay attention. And so why is it limiting for creators? We're talking about the fact that you can't even tell a story because you have to worry about, is somebody's attention span strong enough to hang on more than just a few seconds? Guess what? That's not my problem as a creator. My problem is one or two things. Just like when you go to the movies or somewhere else. One, I have to give you a good trailer. So in this case, I have to give you a hook. I have to hook you in right from the beginning. Okay, I'll do my job and I'll hook you in for 2 or 3 seconds, maybe even 4 seconds at the very beginning. I want to give you something of interest, a title. I want to give you something that's going to pull you in. Now, after that, if you don't have the brain cells or the ability or the time or whatever it is, maybe you're just not in that moment able to watch it. That's cool. But I'm not going to limit my content and slow it down every single time I post just because you don't have the time or the ability to pay attention to something for more than 10 seconds. That's not my job. When you talk about things that are being told out here, like stories that are being told by other brands, like look at Nike, look at I'm just gonna use Nike because I'm in, obviously in the health and wellness space. Nike, Adidas, when they put commercials out, they're not always 10-second commercials. When you even look at the Super Bowl, one of the most expensive places in the world to have advertisement, they're not always 10-second ads. Sometimes it's 30 seconds, sometimes they're a minute. Now, that's even on the long side of commercials these days. Usually commercials are not 30 seconds to a minute long, right? But I'm just giving you an example that everything doesn't always have to be told in 10 to 12 seconds. And that's the problem. That's one of the things that we're running into, is that you feel like you have to push everything out or they're not going to pay attention. Well, you do your job by hooking them in. You also do your job by being consistent with great content. And here's the thing, you can't have long form content and have it be boring. No, it can't be boring. It has to pay off in the end. You will lose people's attention and you will lose their trust and you'll lose your credibility for them to watch and longer. So here's the thing. If I'm really good at long form content and I do videos that are an hour long, or if I like here on YouTube, or if I do an Instagram reel that's maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Well, if I do it well, people will totally understand. Hey, you know what? CJ's telling a story here, and I know it's going to pay off. I know the value is going to pay off, and that's why you want to be able to, be consistent in your part and be credible that they hang around. Because if you don't do it, guess what? That first time that they watch that long video, I'm like, dang, I hung around all this time, and they don't want to actually, watch. They don't want to like do it again because you haven't given them something. So part of what's happening is there's a lot of creators, a lot of people who just say, I want to create content. I want to put stuff out there. And just because you put it out there doesn't mean it's good. It's a lot of bad content creators out there, and they're making it hard for good storytellers and content creators who are really good to ever win over audiences. Because when they watch a bad content creator and they see somebody who's just putting out stuff and they feel like, man, I spent 3 or 4 minutes investing in this and it turned out to be a piece of crap. Well, now I'm going to have trouble in being as a viewer watching somebody else's and feeling like I want to give them that same time. You're like, I'm not really gonna get that time back. So because there's so many people jumping on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube every single day, the content isn't even good. Now, people's attention span is trust and content in general is like everyone wants my attention. Everyone's pulling me for every direction. So now we have to fit in this box of giving it super short, super tiny, 10 seconds, 12 seconds. Man, the algorithm is going to favor that. Why? That's so bad for society. It's so bad for people's mental. It's bad for the development. First of all, it's bad for kids. Super bad for kids. Like the fact that they are so stuck and hooked on TikTok that everything is just in these bit portion sizes and they feel like they learn this way and they learn from. Yeah, you can get little pieces of information from that, but it's not good to be stuck in this hole. I got to get something new. I got to have a different trigger, a different piece of entertainment, a different hit of dopamine every 10 or 15 seconds. That's not how entertainment should be. I shouldn't be triggered or upset that a movie is going to be 2 hours and 3 hours long. I shouldn't be upset that when I'm swiping and a great content creator wants to create a 2 or 3 minute video telling me a story that is not 12 seconds. That's where we are, and that's why it's bad for society. It's bad for the audiences on social media. It's a bad thing in overall how that's actually still in how that's rolling right now. And I wrote down a couple other things I want to touch on real quick. And so we talked about why it's hurting the audience and why it's hurting society, because you're not getting as good as value. You're not getting as great as content that you can from the best creators because they feel so limited in just making short content. Now, let's talk about how every social media platform right now is switching, right? How everything is changing. So we talk about how Instagram at first, we were posting longer videos, and then they kind of around the TikTok time when it was taking off in 2020, they said, hey, let's do reels. Push it to the algorithm, to the fullest, to the top of the algorithm. Let's give you reels bonuses. Let's do all this stuff, right? So now everything is, when it comes to that, it's one of those things that is a short form thing. But now, even there was a little bit of a pushback, a little bit in 2023, that it was people were like, man, I don't want to just do that, right? Pictures came back for one on Instagram. They were like, yo, you forcing reels and short form content to us so much. We want pictures. So now there's pictures. There's pictures on Instagram and TikTok. Yes, there's pictures on TikTok because people are like, yo, I don't just want to just do that. So you can put pictures back on Instagram, and now you're doing them on TikTok, and you could put music over it, right? Even Pinterest, you can do videos now, short form content. But what's also happening right now is long form video is coming back. They see the success of YouTube. They see the success of how many creators are now pivoting to YouTube. And trust me, they study this stuff very, very hard, and they see, man, there's a shift. So many people are like, I'm not just going to use this as a main platform, just Instagram and TikTok, and be stuck in this small little box. I'm going to also expand my platform and create a deeper connection with my audience on YouTube. People that are more invested, more of a community that's invested, because they sit down and they watch YouTube as in exchange for a cable. They're watching YouTube instead of cable. They're watching this STV. They're watching it long. They're watching their favorite creators for 30-minute long vlogs, an hour-long vlog. They're watching them do webcasts. They're watching them do live TV shows. They're watching their favorite podcasts, all long form on YouTube. So what's happening is now that TikTok has said, hey, we've expanded to now do 10-minute videos. Now TikTok, you can do 10-minute videos on TikTok. Right now, you can go ahead and do 10 minutes. Right now on Instagram, you can do longer reels. Like if you, instead of just going to reels and select reels at the top right-hand side of your post, when you want to actually make a post on Instagram, just hit post instead of reels and post your video. You can do it as long as you want. It's not going to limit you to 90 seconds. And so I can break it down for you. If you're like, hey, CJ, I can't figure out how to post longer than 90 seconds on Instagram, I could do a whole video on that. And I can even show you here live one day. But the whole point is they're allowing you to do longer videos. It used to be called Instagram TV. It used to be called Instagram TV with the longer videos on Instagram. Now they went to reels, and now it's just Instagram videos, right? And so all of it's underneath the reels tab, but it's still a point that I'm bringing to you is that you can do longer form content on Instagram is now. And also with live replays, all that stuff has always been on Instagram, but it's being pushed just like the lives on TikTok is being pushed, because again, we're talking about long form content being a more value, a place that people are winning more, a place that people are making more money, not only because you're getting fan monetization by people paying you, giving you gifts and things like that, but also there's opportunities for brand partnerships. There's opportunities for more sponsorships, and it's deeper connection. It's a deeper, richer connection with your audience. Now, let's talk about one more thing, which is which platforms are best for short form, which platforms are best for long form. We talk about TikTok, obviously the best place for short form content. Why? Just because the demographics allow it to be, because you have a younger audience. Usually, you're going to have anywhere from, at this point, the time they come out the womb, and they're paying attention to anything like kids on these tablets and stuff like that. They're watching TikTok. I don't know. It really depends on the parents, but I would say anywhere from the time that they're 7, 8 years old, 10 years old, whenever they get their first phone and they get their first phone, they're on TikTok. Probably the first app a kid is going to download is TikTok. Whether that's good or bad, that's to be debated. But that's going to be the place where you're going to have the short form content. And that age range is going to go up to probably, millennials in the, their mid 30s and things like that. Now, at the end of the day, when you talk about the next level when it comes to short form content, I would probably rank Instagram second, because it's a place where there's a lot of influence. It's probably one of the best places to grow your own personal brand, right? And because the first place people go is going to be an Instagram or TikTok when they look for you. Like, hey, when you go to conferences and things like that, you go to different networking events, they're pulling it up almost like your old MySpace page, or in this case, your old Facebook page. They're using Instagram as your portfolio, that base, that place to connect with you, that place to see your pictures and highlights. Also, LinkedIn. Do not forget LinkedIn. I know we don't talk about it a lot. A lot of people sleep on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place for content, not just short form, but long form as well. But short form content on LinkedIn does very, very, very well. Also, when it comes to long form content, we already know what it is. We already know. Come on. You already know YouTube is the place to be. YouTube is the place to be for long form content. It is number one by far when it comes to long form content. Why? Not only because it is the place that it's been like that for years. People with the vlogs, with podcasts, with everything that's YouTube is known for, a place of information and value and the how-to on everything. But it's really right now about the place for lives. It's about the place for monetization of long-form content and the searchability of it, because YouTube is considered a lot of people, and by the base and just the way it even works is by a search engine. Instead of you just going to Google searching for stuff, you go to YouTube and search for stuff, or vice versa, or both. And so when it comes to it, you get the answer you're looking for, and usually the answer you're looking for can't be explained in 10 seconds. The long form content on YouTube explains it. So whatever you're selling, whatever you're promoting, whatever it is you want to get out there, entertainment or value wise, people, when they search for it, you want it to come up in YouTube, and you want to and they're going to give you their attention. They're going to give you the time to explain and then validate what it is and get that value from you. They're not going to be looking for, you don't search YouTube and looking for a 12-second video. You don't search for answers on YouTube and look for a 15-second video. You're looking for the answer. And as long as your thumbnail is great, as long as your caption is great, as long as your description is great, and as long as the beginning of your video gives them exactly, hey, what I'm looking for, and it's saying, hey, this is the answer, and you kind of like straight to the point with it, and you're not going to hook them along for like 60 minutes just to give them the answer at the end. Oh, they'll give you time. They'll give you time. And that's what I love so much about YouTube. So I wanted to just break that down. And so that was my spiel today, then my PSA. And we are live on YouTube, TikTok. I'm sorry, we're live on, I didn't mean YouTube. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, and also Twitter right now. Let's go to the chat real quick. Let's see who's all here. Deb, I see you. What's up? What's up? Hello, hello. Rosie says, what's up? Hey, CJ, what's up? I see you, fam. I see you, Rosie. She says, exactly. They don't have much time to pay attention. Yeah, I know. They don't. Rosie said, people love storytelling. Yes, I totally agree, Rosie. Let's see. My guy, Hard Body Tie, completely relatable to what I am experiencing right now. Bro, bro, it's a real thing, man. It's tough. Like, and one of those things is like, when you're trying to constantly fit everything into a box and you're trying to fit everything into the small window just to hope that people's attention is going to be held, it's tough. It's tough. And it's like really hard to create that way. And I believe that is a reason why there's so many people that struggle with content creation, because they are boxed in. They feel like I have to be able to fit so much information into, like, when your mind instantly gets blocked off of possibilities when there's a time limit on stuff, right? When you have a time limit in your head, the possibilities of things you can do, it's tough. Is you like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Because you feel like everything has to be rushed and everything has to look like everybody else's. And so that's another topic I want to talk about later this week on the next show, is that we want to talk about creativity and why creativity is, I feel like, going down. Not just in, which is primarily my industry, the fitness industry, but just in general for creators. A lot of things I'm feeling are being reused more and more and more. And so with that being said, I feel like that's part of the reason, is because people are limited in what they can put out there. My guy, yo, what's up, bro? I appreciate you, bro. Trey in the building. I appreciate you with the fires and the lion, bro. Always tapping in with your boy. And so with that is today's show. I wanted to come on here. I wanted to give you something hot, something right off the press, like a PSA. Yo, short form content really does suck. And it's not because I don't like it, meaning like I don't do it. Yes, I do short form content. Yes, you're going to do it. Yes, should you do it? Yes, you should do short form content. I am not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is it sucks in the way that it is being pushed to the front of every algorithm, and that is the priority. It's hurting people's attention spans. It's hurting the way the creators are making content. It's hurting people's creativity. It's hurting different industries and the way messages are put out there. And honestly, it's really hurting factual information, because people just say any damn thing in a quick moment at the beginning of the video just to get your attention. And that's the worst part about it. So with that being said, I appreciate you tuning in. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a comment at the end of the video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And more so than anything, what helps me bring on special guests and be able to continue to do this and be able to keep growing, I need you guys to share this with someone who's never seen the show before. We're going to keep on doing this. We're going to be here for creators. We're going to be here for content creators, social media managers, business owners, digital marketers. That's what the show is about. We talk about content. We talk about creation. We talk about dope stuff with dope people. And with that being said, guys, peace. If you're here, please subscribe. Please like. Tell your friends. We out.